right. Welcome, welcome. Right. Excellent. Welcome. I see folks trickling in. Thank you for making time out of your day to join us in this live webinar session. And I see a couple more folks trickling in, so fantastic. I think I see a familiar name there that has attended, so major shout outs to Mr. Hopel there. Awesome. Thank you, Jason. And as folks are trickling in, feel free to utilize the chat function and share with us where you're logging in from. Just give us a quick little shout out there. And again, we're very grateful that you're here with us, joining us live. For those folks that are just joining us, this will be a session that covers the basics of myViewBoard tools. So we're excited about this. So as you can see on the slide there. So awesome. I see folks coming in from all the way from Maine. Wow. Twyla, thank you. Thank you for tuning in with us. Fantastic. Hopefully we're going to keep you in good company. So there's a lot of fun stuff that we'll get a chance to share. And yes, and I see Arizona. There you go. So fantastic. So for those that are joining us, again, put on the chat box where you're logging in from, just so that we know who's who. And again, we're very grateful that you guys are joining us today. And this is our second installment of our fall webinar session. So again, we are in webinar mode. Every month we host a webinar just like this to learn more about the basics, to go further as well as the learning curve continues to grow. And essentially we want to give you all a more hands-on training, if you will, when it comes to learning about our software. So excellent. So everybody here should, at the very least, have a myViewBoard account. And if you don't, we'll walk you through some of those steps at the very beginning before we jump into some of the items that we have in store for you. So fantastic. I see more folks chiming in. So fantastic. We'll probably give it another minute just to make sure that we capture anyone that is in any kind of rush or hurry. Let's see here. I know we're a minute over, so we'll give it one more minute just to make sure everyone's settled, have their good connection. Hopefully you've got, and again, not to worry if you're not taking any notes. We record all of our sessions, so you can reference this video in our community platform, if you will, that we'll get a chance to showcase as we begin. So excellent. We'll give it another minute. All right. We've got folks from, oh my gosh, all different parts. I see Georgia. I see California, San Francisco. Okay. Region. I see, again, Maine. I see Columbia here. Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. So there's some good chats going on. Fantastic. From Utah, Colorado. I love it. All different parts, honestly. So we've got an awesome group, I can tell already. All right. Well, a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. So just to share, again, this is the Zoom platform that we're using. So at the very bottom, you're going to see the chat function, which looks like everybody's already figured out. Feel free to comment there if you've got some comments to share for the good of the group, or if you want to share it individually, you can do that. Now, there is a Q&A component. Now, if you've got questions pertaining to what we're going through, please put your questions there. Our goal is to every session answer all questions within the session, within this hour that we have together. So put all your questions there. And then again, this session is being recorded. So we have this to reference if you needed to look back or share it with other peers or what have you. So not to worry if you missed something. Again, we're happy to share this out, and we'll do this in a follow-up email as well as post it in our community. So we'll share a little bit more what that looks like too. All right, it looks like we've got more folks. So I'm going to kick it off with a quick intro. So we've got an agenda today that you're looking at right now. And we're going to learn really the basics, the intro to the tools that we've got within myViewBoard. So that way you get more acclimated towards what functionalities serves within myViewBoard and get to learn more about ViewSonic software, quite honestly. So for those that your first time, or maybe this is, again, more you're familiar with the software, then fantastic. This is always a good way to sharpen your tools and your knowledge. So again, we'll share a lot around lesson planning so that folks can see how do you go about that process. So we're going to show you the how as well. And then at the end of the day, we love to do our check for understanding, and we do our game time. So we do our board demonstration. So it's really neat to have that. And this is where we get to ask some trivia questions. So stay tuned for that. And then at the very end, we do our community drawing. So we want to make sure that we reward everybody as much as possible. So there's a chance for our folks here that are attendees to win a $25 Amazon gift card. And we just ask for your participation within the community platform to do so. So we'll share that towards the end. But I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with a quick poll that you're seeing there. And I'm also going to share my screen. But before I go any further, I do want to introduce our amazing presenter, Miss Haley Hunt here, who is our product manager, and she'll be our presenter as well. And then myself, Ruben Caputo. I am the ViewSonic marketing manager for education. And then we have an amazing staff that helps us on the moderation side. So again, as many questions that you may have, feel free to put them in there, participate with us, and we'll be able to, again, answer a lot of your inquiries as they come. All right, so there's a poll there. So as you're doing that, I'm going to get ready to share my screen and give a couple of housekeeping items that I'd like to share for everybody for the good of the group. All right, here we go. So hopefully everyone's seeing my screen right now. And so what I want to show everybody is our community website. And so this is a site that if you want to bookmark this, I'll put this in the chat. I highly recommend it. This site is active. And so in terms, you're going to see a lot of updates, interfacing with everyone else out in a public forum, that we've got a lot of great things in store. So we have things like how to get certified and essentially start taking steps around professional development. And if I scroll to the next banner, we actually have an amazing sweepstakes that just took place. And this has to do with who's got a Halloween decorated classroom, and we give out fun prizes, incentives like that. And then a big one here, which is becoming an ambassador. Actually, I'm going to spend a little bit of time here, because if you click on this banner and learn more, again, I'm going to navigate, folks. Oops, I'm having, let's see here. I may have to come back to this. Forgive me, folks. I might have to clear my cache. So let me do this. I'm going to pivot for a second, and I'm going to share my screen in another format. So I have it here. I'm too excited, I think. All right. Yes, I have it right here. Give me 1 second, folks. I got too jumpy there. I just want to share this new program that we've got in store for everybody, which is becoming a community ambassador. And so this is the landing page where you get a chance to actually do and earn. So essentially, there's a chance for you to unlock these levels and tiers for great rewards and prizes. And so I'd love for folks to spend time on this. If you're interested to learning more about our community and how you can best support, we want to reward you, quite honestly. Yes, we have fun with the raffle that we're going to be partaking, but at the end of the day, everybody has a chance to become an ambassador. And so we really want to encourage you all, based off the great work that you're doing, that you're pursuing your professional development growth with us. So we want to reward you with some fun activities like what we've got proposed here on this site. So again, I will put this on the chat, so not to worry. Don't have to worry about copying the URL link or anything like that. And ultimately, if you've got any questions or anything that matter, feel free to put them on the questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer. Now, one big thing I will share, that if you are interested, you can just go straight to the sign up, and it'll take you to this Google form, and this is the interest form. And here, if you fill out your information, you'll get in contact with our community manager, which is Tara Tibbs. And so she'll reach out to you and schedule an info session, or at least start the dialogue to understand a little bit more what you would like to do as an ambassador, okay, what your vision is. So at the end of the day, we want to hear from you. All right. Last thing that I'd like to share, and that is essentially for those who are, again, first timers to the community, I just want to share with everyone, how do you get started? And I'll just do this very quickly so that we can get into our presentation. So if we were to click on join now, and again, I will put this information on the chat, it's going to ask you to sign up for myViewBoard. Community lives within myViewBoard. And so essentially we have a couple of options to do single sign-on. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and sign on to my Microsoft account. And it'll take me a second here, hopefully. Fantastic. Hopefully it's tied and tethered like this for you. Again, take a minute to do this if you can within this time that we have together, because in order to participate into our amazing raffle, we're going to ask you to do some engagement posts with us within the community platform. Now, it's going to take you to a dashboard. Looks like this. And so there's a couple of tiles here. So don't get lost. It's under the community tile. So this is our community tile. If you click on that, it will take you to our community platform, which it is loading as we speak. And once it's in here, you're going to see this is a global platform. So it's why you're going to see different regions, perhaps even different languages, things of that nature. So because this is our US and Canada webinar focused region, you're actually going to navigate towards the form that says USA and Canada, which is on the lower part, if you can see that under form. Okay. So again, there's a lot of great things to visit on the upper left. This is shown and visible to all. I won't go too much in detail just yet because we've got a lot to get to. So I just want to take you to our post so that way you're able to participate in the raffle and drawings that we'll be doing at the end of our webinar. So fantastic. I'm going to take you here to the form under USA and Canada. And once you click here, you're going to see event postings. So this is where I'm going to navigate you all for a quick second. And so you'll see lots of postings around our webinar. Okay. And so you're going to see our post. And forgive me, it's going to get posted as we speak. But our post will showcase the actual webinar itself. And so when that webinar posting gets clicked, what you'll do is you'll click on that post, and then you'll go ahead and actually add your thoughts here. Okay, so that's just an example. So that way you're able to participate with us. And we want to hear ultimately what you think of the webinar, what takeaways you took from the webinar, and how do you see yourself implementing, right, based off the resources that we'll be sharing with everyone. All right, folks. Not to worry if any of this stuff was like, whoa, it's a lot of information overload and it's towards the end of my day. I'll be putting it on the chat and I'll be following up with more instructions. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to be turning this over to our amazing presenter, Miss Haley Hunt. So if you could, please give me loud emoticons in the chat and put your clapping hands together. And I'm going to pass it over to Miss Haley. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ruben. As Ruben mentioned, my name is Haley Hunt. I'm one of the associate product managers here at ViewSonic. So today we're going to be going over lots of development tools for lesson planning within the myViewBoard whiteboard software. So before we begin, I want to just mention that a big welcome and hello to all of you if you're new with us. This is part of a series that we do frequently. We meet and have these webinars. We're in the second installment of our fall webinar series. So that just means we're going to try to build upon some of the tools and lessons we learned last time and use it to start building a more robust learning system for your students using both hardware and software together. So first of all, if you are brand new, no worries. I'm going to take some time to go over and reintroduce a few of the important tools that we're going to be using today, and also just an overview of what myViewBoard Whiteboard is. So with that being said, I'm going to do a brief introduction to tools, and I believe that there will be another poll question coming your way. But as that poll question is coming up and I start to explain more about Whiteboard, I first want to mention how I'm using it today. So I am using my Microsoft Pro. This Surface Pro uses Windows. So what I'm using today is our software that is in Windows. But the great thing about my myViewBoard Whiteboard is that it is available and with many devices and across many different iOS. So you can use iPad iOS, you can do Mac OS, you can also do Android, Chromebook, etc. So there's really many different tools that you can use because it is cross-platform and cross-device compatible. So what that means for us today is I am going to be using the Windows version, but there are many tools that are going to have direct overlap. So no worries here. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to use a mouse, a keyboard, and my computer monitor. Now, I will also be going over some of the differences between using the computer and how you would use it if you have a viewboard in your classroom right now. So the interactive displays really make this helpful to interact with students in the front of classroom, but you can also take the time to create your lessons ahead of time using your computer, really whatever you're most comfortable with. So looking at this overview of features, I want to get us all comfortable before we get into any more details. Especially if you were not able to join us in the past webinars, I want to make sure that you feel comfortable to continue to learn. So with that being said, first of all, always make sure that you sign in. So as Ruben mentioned earlier, you can sign up for a myViewBoard account, and that will allow you to keep all of your great files at your fingertips. It'll be able to allow you to go through your laptop to then also your viewboard, etc. So for me, I am signed into my account right now. You can see at the top left-hand corner, my name is signed in. Some great other tools if you start to want to have students engage with your panel, you'll be able to click on it. And here I have a QR code and also a link to my board. So this is something that I'm not going to cover in depth today. We're going to focus more on how students can engage with your whiteboard in front of classroom. But further on in other webinars and a couple of past ones already, we have talked about ways that you can get your students to engage virtually if they have a device available to them. So a couple other important things that I want us to make sure that we know, even though it looks like there's a lot, the most important features that we're going to be looking at today really are this floating toolbar and the main toolbar. These are where all of the tools they're going to be using will live. Floating toolbar, I've already been using throughout this presentation, but it allows me to moderate my lesson. So I can choose between going into a prepare mode, which we're all in right now, as you can see, but I can also switch to a present mode. As you can see, when I press that present mode, it gets rid of the upper toolbar, it gets rid of my session ID, and now I can just focus on the content at hand. So that's a really helpful feature, part of the floating toolbar that we may be using throughout this lesson. So some other things that I will also show you is I have been navigating through this with multiple different slides. So within this whiteboard file, I have multiple different slides as you can see here. So each one is going to have different content, and I can navigate easily through each one and go to whatever slide I want. But the way that I've been going back and forward is using these left and right facing arrows. So I've already been using both to progress our slides, and to go back, I would just hit the left arrow again. Pretty simple, but these are going to be tools that can allow you to have more information throughout your file. Some other things that we're going to be looking at with the main toolbar today are going to be our annotation tools. So let me demonstrate quickly how we're going to get to that. So you've already noticed me clicking on a few things. So this is where one thing is different than if you're using your interactive board in class. So for me, since I'm using my mouse, what I will do is I can have a double tap feature on all of these tools. So by clicking on it once, it activates the tool. Clicking on it twice allows me to have more customization. So as you can see, there are multiple different annotation tools. There are paint highlighters. We even have an AI tool that allows you to draw. But also I'm going to be using this laser pen to help gather your focus. So this laser pen I'm going to use throughout the presentation, and that is one quick and easy way to get to it. So now that we're looking at a few more tools that we're going to be looking at today, one thing we're going to be looking at mainly is the magic box. I'll go in more depth about the magic box, but you can just think about this as a quick and easy way for you to be able to gather more engaging activities for your students. One other helpful tool that I will go ahead and point out now, I'm pointing at it with my yellow laser pen. Down at the bottom of the screen, there is a hand icon. Now the hand icon is what we call Infinite Canvas. So that is our tool that is going to allow you to really navigate the Infinite Canvas. So one great part about myViewBoard Whiteboard is that you have the ability to use up a lot of the screen, really infinite. That's where the name came from. This would allow me to click on the screen, or if you're using your viewboard, use your finger. So what I'm doing is taking my cursor, I'm clicking on the screen, and then I can drag around. I can also use the scroll wheel to scroll in and scroll out. Now, if you're using your viewboard in the front of class, this would be just a pinch motion, pinch in or pinch out. Now, let's say you are using up really the most of your infinite canvas. You are all the way over in this corner. Let's make a mark to show where we are. So you get a little scribble in this corner, and I can do it in this corner as well. But now I want to go back to the beginning of my slide. Well, this is where that double tap comes in handy. So I'm going to select the tool, and I'm going to click it again to now be able to navigate my infinite canvas map. Now this infinite canvas map will come up in a second. We always love when the things don't work immediately, but now we have the map pulled up here. As you can see, I have a highlighted box that shows me where I am on the canvas. So if I had students and they were playing around on the board and I wanted them to draw or write notes, they would really have the most of the space to be able to write that information down. Now, if I want to get back to where I originally began, I can always hit this circle with an arrow, and this is our reset button. By clicking that, I'm back to the very beginning of where I want my slide to be. So those are the tools that we're going to be using. Mostly, we're going to use annotation tools. We're going to use that infinite canvas a lot. And we're also going to be using the select tool. So again, let me get to the laser pen. I'm going to point at it with this yellow arrow. It is the dotted box with a blue arrow in it. Now the select tool is different than the infinite canvas. And the select tool allows me to pick up objects and allows me to select text and move things around. So this is more of an editing option. The infinite canvas is more of a navigational tool. So that's something important to note because you may think the hand means I'm going to pick up an object. Just think about the hand is similar to how you would use it in the classroom, just to move around on the board. So with that said, let's take a brief minute to talk about Magic Box. So this is where I was talking about earlier. I'm gonna click on my laser pen and I'm gonna point down. We have a box here. So many people refer to it as the Amazon package, the gift that keeps on giving. I like personally Mary Poppins bag because it really has truly everything you would need in it. But by clicking on it, it opens up this great Magic Box, and you can see there are already so many different icons in here. One thing that I mentioned earlier was the importance of logging in. So when you log into your account, it actually allows you to bind cloud drives. So if you're using Google Drive, you can access that. I personally use OneDrive. You can also use Dropbox and other types of cloud storage devices to allow you to access your files later. This just means that I can pick up what I'm working on at home, and when I go back into the office the next day, I can bring it back up directly on another device as long as I'm signed in, or even on the viewboard itself. So this can work across if I'm using my Windows Surface Pro laptop, or if I use the Android side of my panel, I would be able to access my files. So that's very important. Always remember to log in when you're starting to use your whiteboard. Now there are a handful of other tools. Now this could be an entire lesson in itself. For today, there are two main things that I really want us to focus on, and I'll use it as we practice our lesson planning today. The first one of those is going to be in the math and science tools. As you can see, there are many different available options to you. We're going to be focusing on the dice. You know, typically when you think of dice, you think of games, which we will get to at the end of this presentation. But there are also many helpful tools within this software platform that allow you to use them for educational purposes too. So I would love to share those with you as we go on. The second one is YouTube. So we have the ability to search for educational YouTube content and be able to embed it directly onto the Canvas. What this means is you can find a video on a topic that you're talking about. It can be historical. You can go to NASA Kids or even the SciShow for kids and find cool scientific experiments. And you can play those directly in your lesson without having to navigate directly to YouTube. Another key feature about this YouTube in comparison to the web-based is that there are no ads. So you can just get straight to the video and you don't have to worry about any inappropriate advertisements for your students. So the Magic Box really can be talked about more, but I just want us to focus on those two key topics. So with that being said, let's take a brief second again to look at a few more tools beyond the Magic Box. So we just talked about Magic Box. I showed you Infinite Canvas. We looked at a few options for pen, but there are two more items that I think would be helpful for us. That's going to be the eraser and shapes. When you think about lesson planning, especially using myViewBoard Whiteboard, there are many different ways that you are able to use it. This way is one of more traditional ways that will allow you to use your existing content and import it directly into your Canvas. Later on, I'm going to show you how you can make more engaging activities with your lessons. But first, if this is something that you're more comfortable with, let's start here. So what I'm going to do is I've already clicked on the Infinite Canvas hand logo, and now I'm going to drag. So again, click on the screen and drag down to this example worksheet. Now, if you've been with us with past webinars, you will recognize this worksheet. This is a great example of a way that you can take an existing lesson, worksheet, PDF document, really anything that you have, and import it directly into Whiteboard. Another part that I haven't mentioned quite yet about our whiteboarding software is within Magic Box. If you click on it again and you go to your cloud drive, you are able to insert many different file types. You can insert images, video, audio, and then there's something down here called .olf. That is our special file type for Whiteboard. What it stands for is Open Learning Format. So that just means that if you were using a different company's software platform, you would be able to import their documents using Magic Box. So for example, if you have flip chart files or notebook files, you would be able to open those up in Whiteboard and import them directly into our file. Once you save, it converts it to that .olf, and now you can use it anywhere. So that is a really helpful tool that will allow you to save some time so you're not having to recreate lessons that you had in different software platforms and get up and running as soon as possible. For this example, I've already imported a PDF document. And what I've done is I am going to show you a couple of tools and ways that you can use this type of lesson within your class to get started. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pretend that we're in our class right now. We're in math. We want our students to get up and engage with the board. And so what we're going to do is we're going to engage the Infinite Canvas. We're going to scroll in so the students in the back of the class can see what we're working on. And now I'm going to use the shape icon. So I'm going to point to the shape icon with a yellow laser pen. What you'll notice here with the shapes is that there is a bundle of a circle, a square, a triangle, and a dotted line. By clicking on this is going to access shapes. So you'll notice, and this is a key tip, especially if you're new to Whiteboard, you'll notice if I go back to the Infinite Canvas, the shape icon has remained a square. So if you ever feel like you've lost that bundle of shapes, just know it's right here, right between the eraser and the big T, and that is going to be where you can access shapes. So just like with every tool, by clicking on it again, I have more customization options available. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select this orange color, and it's going to create an orange square. I'm going to use it to put that square, really a rectangle here, around 1 through 4. So that means that we're going to have the class focus on just these numbers. So now that I have the shape included, I can start having the students come up to the board and start writing. So I'm going to go back to the pen. Right now it's on laser pen. By clicking it again, I can navigate to a marker, and I'm going to choose this blue color. I also am going to begin writing. So let's say I realize, oh, you know what? That's too thick of a letter. I should really make that thinner. We can go to the erase option and we can just scrub it away, just like a normal eraser on paper. So I'm going to go back to the pen, click on it. I'm going to change the thickness, and now the students can start writing and it will be more legible. Now, I am writing with a mouse, so my control is a little bit less, but you get the idea. So they come up and they will start writing on the board. If you have a view board in class, that means you can have multiple students writing on the board at one time, which could be really helpful if you want to do a test or group work. It would really allow multiple students to get engaged. So now they have this worksheet. Maybe you want to clear it for the next table group. So what you can do is go back to the eraser, and I've already shown you how you can use it as a normal eraser, but by clicking on that second time, I get more options. I can use this one with a dotted line, and this is the lasso tool, which allows me to select an area and it will delete. I can go back to the eraser icon, and I can either choose to clear all strokes or clear all. Now, this is important to note, especially if you're new in Whiteboard. Let's say you want to clear the board, but you want to keep the square or the rectangle. So what I would do is I would just use clear all strokes to get rid of just the strokes. So strokes in this case means the annotation. By doing that, it will get rid of all the blue marks, but the rectangle will remain. So let's see how that would work. So I will just click clear all strokes. I can either choose to do it from every page if you've been using it throughout your class, or you can choose this specific page. I'm going to choose this page. Now the pen marks are gone. So let me show you what this would look like if you would have selected clear all instead. I am double clicking. I'm going to then press clear all. Once I do this, it will remove any shape or picture icon or object that is not locked. So with this, it's going to take the annotation and the orange rectangle. And there you go. So again, I'm going to go back to the canvas. I'm going to click on it again, and I'm going to reset the page back to the top of this worksheet where we started. And now I can either have the students come up and we can do more. I can zoom out to get back to where we were, or I can insert another piece of information for our class to get started. So now that is a basic tool and way to use existing lessons for your class. But we're going to take a brief break here because we're going to go into lesson plans and some of those special tools in Magic Box that I mentioned earlier, and figure out some different ways that we can actually get students involved. So with that, I'm going to take a quick second to take a break.
And as we are in break mode, feel free to fill out that poll that we just posted. And I just want to let everybody know, I went ahead and posted the announcements onto our chat. So as we prepare to go into part 2, take a moment and see about joining us within the community. And if there's something you already thought, man, this was really captivating, I just want to put a comment in there, feel free to do so. So again, thank you all for attending the webinar, and feel free to start engaging with us. And I'm preparing for what we have in store towards the end of the webinar so that we can do our sweepstakes. Awesome. Thank you again.
Awesome. Okay, let me restart my video. So now that we've done the poll question, I hope you had an opportunity to answer that. I want to go over some additional ways that you can create lessons. So I was looking through the chat and saw that many of you are new to ViewSonic and to the view boards. So I do want to take an opportunity to talk about some other ways that you can create your own lessons. So I will take some time to show you a couple of different tools that are available to you within Whiteboard. So First of all, we already saw that you could actually insert your own PDF document or a file that you've already had created. Another way that you could do it is create from scratch. We've already seen that there are multiple different tools available to you within Whiteboard, and really it's up to your creativity and of course your time to where you can create a lesson that you feel comfortable with bringing to your students. So if you do want to engage that creative, active part of your brain, this is a great time for you to look at some of the tools available to you. So beyond just annotating, we have the ability to use that select tool on objects to then further create lessons. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So first of all, we have a third menu that I'm bringing up. So earlier we talked about the floating toolbar, the main toolbar, and now we're going to be talking about the adorning menu. The adorning menu is a hidden little menu that pops up when you select an object. So let's take a look at what this would look like. I'm using Infinite Canvas again, scrolling down, and I love to use this counting activity as a way to show you the different tools available to you in myViewBoard. So what I'm going to do is you can either insert a shape or you can insert an image, whatever you feel comfortable with. But because we are beginners, let's go ahead and take a look at what it would look like to put a shape in. So I'm going back to the shape icon and I want to use a circle. So I'm going to select the shape. I can either use one of the default shapes here. Circle is there, but I do want to change the color. So I'm going to click on it again, enter my customization menu. I'm going to select my shape and a color. And now I can draw that shape. I could make multiple shapes here, but they would end up different sizes. So there is a better tool if you are interested in keeping the same shape throughout your lesson. And let me go ahead and show you what that would look like. But before I do that, this is a great opportunity to show you what the adorning menu looks like. I have the shape selected, and now there are many different icons that have appeared here. So the first one I'm going to use so that we can restart is this delete trash can icon. So I'm going to go and select my objects. Now, an important note here is that when you do want to select an object, you do need to click the select button. So this tool will allow me to select the shape, enter that adorning menu, and I can delete. Let's look at another tool. I'm going to, again, select the object. And now I also want to add a color to it. So I can use this fill color. I am going to use this purple, and it's going to fill a shape. So now what I can do is I can copy the image and paste it using this clipboard icon on the floating toolbar. And to show you what that looks like, let me select the laser pen and point to it. It is a brown clipboard next to the left arrow on the floating toolbar. By clicking that, it's going to paste the object. Now note, I need to go back to the select tool and see that the image pasted on top of the original. Now I can pull it away and I can continue to do this until I'm ready to do the activity. An alternative could be to use another tool within the adorning menu, which is called the movable lock. So one thing you'll note before I press on the movable lock is that there are 4 corners and I could resize the object. Now this is great for editing, but not so great if you have students who are going to be interacting with your canvas. They might accidentally resize the shape. So we want to make it as student friendly as possible. So what you could do instead is use something called movable lock. This movable lock will now let me to select the object and move it around the canvas without it accidentally resizing. So I can do this to all my shapes and we don't have to worry about them accidentally being resized. I want to show another way to copy images. So I'm going to go back to the original shape. I'm going to make sure the select tool is highlighted, which it is, and I'll select the object. There's one more tool that looks very similar to the copy, but the difference here is that it has 4 arrows in different directions. This is our drag to copy. So this creates an infinite copy, and I can continually move the shape around. I'm going to put it back on, and then I can continually drag as many as I want. So this is a great tool if you want students to count as many as they can in a couple of seconds, or you want them to use it for creating pizza toppings or really any creative activities. This is available for you to just click and go. What I am going to do is I'm going to select my select tool, and now I'm going to drag and lasso around all these objects, and I'm going to put the movable lock on all of them. By doing this, you can see it might not work the way that you intended, because now it's working as if these objects are a group. So instead, what you can do is you can either go one by one, or you can go into present mode. So earlier I showed you the difference between prepare and present. So let's go in the present mode. Now that I'm in present mode, I am still able to move these objects with the infinite drag, or I can just pick up an object and go. So it's really your preference in how you want your students to work with the board. But let's say you have this counting activity. You decide you want your students to count out a specific number. So let's say 5. And now they can use the select tool. They can come up and start counting. Now, when you're ready for the students to be able to go back, what you can do again is engage the erase tool. You can delete all, and I do want to show you an object tool within the Adorning menu that will also be different depending on how you use the trash can icon. So I'm going to go back into prepare mode. I'm going to select this object here, and I'm going to lock it in place. As you can see, I've been using that lock icon throughout my lesson here. And this really allows me to have the option to make sure that those are not deleted if I want to delete all. So now I have that one shape deleted, and I want to demonstrate to you how erasing all will remove all of the objects except for the ones that are locked. So let's see how that goes. So you'll notice we have 2 that are left behind. We have one that is the one that we locked here, and we have another one here that is also locked. The best way to figure out why that happened is just selecting it. So clicking on it allows me to see that because it has the infinite drag to copy, it will not be erased. So that is a helpful tool to remind you all about the lock function as well. So now, just to get rid of it, you would just click and it's gone. So that is a very helpful way that you can create your own lesson. But I did mention I do want to do some more engaging topics for your students in the front of the classroom. So what we're going to be looking at is how you can utilize dice to make your lessons a little bit more engaging. So I have 2 different lessons at varying levels. So we have a beginner and we have a little bit more advanced. And these ways are going to allow your students to, depending on whatever grade they are in, be able to interact with the board and feel engaged in your lesson. So in my hypothetical scenario, I am teaching my class all about vowels. And we've been working on spelling and phonics. And we have this lesson here where I'm utilizing the dice. So to demonstrate how this would work, I am going to put it into present mode. And now I'm going to invite a student to come up to the board and tap the dice here to figure out what they need to do for the activity. So I've set up the activity so that they would need to write 2 words that contain the vowel revealed on the dice. So let's have a go at it. So in this example, I would need to create 2 words on the board that have the letter A. So you could have the student come up, they could select the pen, and they could begin writing. So maybe in this example, it's cat and bag. Now I want a new student to come up. So I'm going to go back to the eraser icon. I'm going to clear all strokes. And now we have a new student come up and get involved. So I'm going to have that student again go to the dice, select it, and now they get a new letter. So this student can either choose to keep the same pen color or they can change it. So maybe the word is big and pig. And then the same thing again, you can go here, erase all strokes, and then you're ready to go for the next student. So I do want to demonstrate how you would make the dice in the first place. So let's go back to the magic box. In the magic box, we're going to go to the math and science tools, and we're going to select the dice icon. By selecting the dice, I'm going to bring it into the board, and there are two ways you can do it. You can either double click or you can drag. So what I'm going to do is show you a couple of different ways to use it. There are multiple ways that you can use the dice, and so let's take a look at what this would look like. So this is more of the advanced phase using the dice. So let's say you are using a higher level English class or a creative writing class, and what you want to do is provide them the ability to create their own story. So beyond just using the regular dice as they are, you can customize the text. So maybe you want to create third-person narration, and you can also add images. So maybe you want them to pick their setting. So they need to write a story that is in the third person at the beach. Another way you could do it is you can still use the basic dice as it comes, but you can edit the color. You can make it custom however you want. And let's say in this use case, you will create your own roll a story. So because it is almost Halloween, I have created a very special Halloween roll a story. So what you're going to do is, depending on each column, you're going to mark what your students have to write about. So I'm going to go to the highlight pen because I think this is the best one. I'm going to choose orange just to stay on theme. And now you're going to have the students either roll the dice or you can do it for them. And you can either choose to do this as a group activity or one-on-one. So to show how this would work, for the first column, character, it would be about a bat. Then again, roll it a second time to get setting at the county fair. And the last time, the problem or the conflict at hand, scared of the dark. So now your students are given the opportunity to write a short, quick story about how there is a bat at the county fair who is scared of the dark. Now, this is another quick way that you can have students be engaged and create custom experiences for each of your students. Again, best way to clear this instead of erasing one by one is just use that clear all strokes. And now you can get started for the next student. So let me show you how this would work for setting up dice. Now that you know that there are text options, there are picture settings, or you can use the regular dice as it comes, you're going to go back to the magic box. You're going to select the dice. You can either double tap or copy it over. And now the dice icon will come up. There is the option to change the color as I did earlier, or you can click on this gear icon, and this is going to allow you to either customize the text or add an image. So for customizing the text, you would just type in, and this is where I put first person, second person, etc., and filled it out. For this example, I can show you what some of these looked like. So for narration, I did first, second, and third person. For the images for setting, I did an ocean, space, a city, the desert, multiple different options available. And then of course with the regular dice, I just simply changed the color. When you do the images, it's just simple as drag and drop, and really the options are limitless. So I think this would be a fun activity to utilize the dice and some of the ways to get your students interested in learning, or even it might be a fun way to spend some time in class and have an extra fun game time. Another option that I mentioned earlier was embedding YouTube videos. So back in the magic box, I would be able to navigate to YouTube, and I really like SciShow. SciShow has fun kid videos as well, but it really can be any topic that you want. So all I did here was look up SciShow Kids, and multiple different video options will show up from this creator. I can insert the image by either just double tapping or inserting, and now I can play the video directly within the canvas. We can go full screen, We can exit full screen, and we can even, I'm going to pause that so it doesn't keep playing. But the idea here would be able to choose any video of the topic of your choosing and have your students take those lessons and be able to put what they learned from the video so that they are actively listening and engaging in what they're learning. So this just adds another layer of the ability to add some engaging content for your students, and it's really great for all learners of all types. So instead of just doing paper and pen in the classroom or staying on just a worksheet, now students can either play a game, feel like they're learning the way that they want to, and really it's intended for all levels. So you can have a lower end dice game for students who are just learning how to spell, or you can create more complex math games with those dice. And of course, with the YouTube videos too, with the breadth of educational videos on YouTube, you can really find any topic of your choosing and get your students engaged and active. So hopefully you learned a little bit more about these two tools. It was really intended to just be a quick and brief introduction of what Whiteboard has to offer, especially if you're new to Whiteboard in general. We're going to have more webinars later on about some of the tools, especially when it comes to lesson planning and using preset lessons. So to show you a brief example of what this would look like, we're going to be looking at ViewSonic Originals, which is another way to have pre-prepared lessons, backgrounds, graphics, all available to you. And this is content that ViewSonic provides. So we're going to have an entire webinar series on that next month. We're going to go through all of the details available to you. But with that being said, I think we've talked enough. I hope you learned a little bit. But to check, we're going to do a quick poll. And after that poll, we're going to get started on a game to check your understanding. All right, so taking everything that we've just learned, we talked about annotation tools and how to change the different pen icons. We talked about different eraser tools, how to keep your students engaged and active, and also some fun tools like the dice. So I mentioned earlier that the dice can be used for educational purposes, but they can also be used for fun games as well. So what I'm going to do is we're going to play a game. I do this in every webinar, and I think it's very fun and engaging. And so what I am going to do is I invite you all to answer my questions that I will read out loud, answer them within the chat, and we're going to see how far we can take our cute little finch. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead, move the finch to the starting place, and I'm going to begin with my first question. Okay, first question. I copied a picture or a shape on my canvas. How do I paste it? So if you have the answer, go ahead and put it in the chat box. And a hint for this is that it appears on the floating toolbar. If you think you have the answer, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Awesome, someone said clipboard icon. Exactly, that is the paste option. So let's go ahead and click on the dice like we've talked about and see how far the finch will go. 5, awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, awesome. I have another question. The menu that appears when using the select tool, or AKA that third hidden menu, what is that called? You think you have the answer, go ahead and put it in. Adorning, perfect, good job. So for this one, I am going to select this arrow. I'm going to use another fun tool within the adorning menu that we didn't talk about in depth, which is this spin icon. So let's see where we can land on. 5, okay, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have another question. Let's say this is a yes or no question. Will using the erase all strokes trash can erase my imported locked document? Yes or no? No, perfect. So let's do the dice. 6. Wow, high scores this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, another question. You have a file or a lesson that you've already created. What tool in the main toolbar should you use to import that file? I'll go ahead and repeat that. If you want to import a file or PDF, which tool or icon would you press on to import that file? Awesome, magic box, you got it. So let's go back to the spin. I'm gonna insert that adorning menu. I'm gonna press spin. Let's see where we get. Oh, okay, well, they can't always be high scores. So we're gonna move one. Now, to send this Finch home, I have one last question. What is one new thing you learned today, if any? Awesome. Someone said YouTube. Someone said everything. Well, I'm glad you were here today. Someone said dice, how to import worksheets, the other types of files that we can import, how to delete. Awesome. Okay, well, that's really great. I'm glad that all of you were able to join. So let's send this Finch home. 2. One more. This is a freebie. I am just going to spin this icon right here using the adorning menu, and we're just going to send the Finch home. Perfect. We made it. Awesome, everyone. So with that being said, I am going to pass it back over to Ruben because I think he does have some message regarding our educator community in the event that he had posted. So with that, thank you everyone so much for joining. Hope to see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Haley. And folks, again, this is our amazing presenter, Haley Hunt. So if you don't mind putting some more emoticons into the chat. And then now I'm going to be inviting you over to our drawing that we're going to be doing. So for those that, again, might have missed the very beginning intro, essentially I've posted on the chat a link there, and that's to sign in or sign up to myViewBoard. And so that everybody knows the software that we just navigated, all of that is free. And so ultimately, if you're brand new to ViewSonic, essentially we invite you to partake in what we've got going on. And we've built an educator community that's designed for any and all, quite honestly. And so if you're looking to dip your toe in to learn more about the software, well, you've come to the right place. This is going to be the place where we can help you grow and hopefully close any kind of learning curve that you're going through. And so you'll have access to a lot of resources by visiting our website and joining the community platform by signing up or signing in to myViewBoard. Now, I shared earlier on the chat that if we unlock 10 community responses, we'll do 2 drawings. So not 1, but 2 Amazon gift card drawings. So I'm going to refresh my page in just a second because I think we got more folks that just chimed in. And so let me go ahead and do that. And it appears, yes, we got another response. So we are looking for those to at least 4 more folks, community members, and there's plenty here that are in the attendees. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to go ahead and respond. And where you're going to respond, and I'm going to share my screen so that I can navigate. Fantastic. Here we go. So hopefully everybody can see my screen. And so right here in our platform, we're inside the ViewSonic Educator Community platform. If you were to go to the USA and Canada form, so this is the particular region that we're in, you're going to see events posted on the very top. And so there's a lot of announcements that we uncovered. And one big one that I'll just share before going into our webinar banner is the ambassador program that we've got. So if you're interested, feel free to click on that banner. And if you click on join, it'll take you to the site where you can actually start putting in your interest, if you will, and it'll take you literally a minute. It's just your basic information so that we can keep in contact and share a little bit more about what it looks like to be an ambassador. And you'll be connected with our ViewSonic community manager, Ms. Tara Tibbs. So if you were to click, going back to the sweepstakes, to this particular banner, it looks like we've got 7 replies. Awesome. I see another one here. Fantastic. And thank you so much, Jennifer. I love your charisma and your constant community posting. So I appreciate that. You're definitely helping the count. So we're looking to have at least 10 to unlock 2 Amazon gift card drawings. And I'm going to give everybody 1 to 2 more minutes to do that. So hurry up and do that if you would like to unlock 2 drawings so that it increases your chance to win. So I'm going to put Miss J. Lee here. So I'm going to put another person to the wheel of names. So this is how I'm going to randomly pick, and we get to do this together. So fantastic. We've got another minute. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we unlock another drawing? So, and thank you for all the feedback that I see from our community members. All this helps us so that we can continue the efforts of providing you webinars like this so that you can learn more, and at the same time for us to explore other formats and delivery. So it looks like we might have gotten another response. Hang on. It looks like, let me just make sure I refresh. Yes, we got 8 replies. We need 2 more, folks. Can we do it? I don't know. Moderation team, can you give me some drum rolls? Can we give me some loud emoticons here? We've got literally 2 more replies to unlock 2 drawings. So let's see. So I'm going to put another member into our space, into our wheel of names. Fantastic. We're going to do this. I love it. I love it. I see the drum rolls. I see the prayer hands. Let's do 2 more. I'm going to hold still. I know we're at that hour. Let's do it. I don't know. Give it another minute. Another minute. Let's put some clapping hands. I know you can do it. Oh, I hear another bell ring here. Oh, I think, yep. I think we are at 9? Yes, we're at 9 replies. We need 1 more. 1 more. It would behoove us to do it. Yes, let's cross our fingers. I love it, Jennifer. There you go. So we're going to put, it looks like us, Bruno in there. So let's get Bruno into the mix. We need 1 more, folks, so we can do 2 drawings. So let's see. It takes community to build community. And I just heard that magical sound, that bell sound. Oh, I don't think that's it. Actually, I think it's an email that came through for me. So let's see. Do we have enough? Let's see. Verona, I don't see. Okay, so Verona, if I don't see yours, now it could possibly be, let's see, are you clicking to this particular? I'm going to go ahead and share this community post. Want to make sure we capture. So for those that are not aware, we are capturing as many comments as possible just so that we take your feedback from what you learned today. So if you can take a minute, I know some of you are probably deep in thought crafting it, but we need 1 more reply so we unlock 10 posts so that we can do 2 drawings. So take a look at that link I just posted on the chat, and if you can give us your feedback, something that you've learned, any takeaways, we'll appreciate it. Okay, and I see mine says it's a pretending review. Okay, so I'm not sure, Heather, so let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and check on other spaces where it might have taken you. So I know usually our Say Hello is our welcoming platform. So let me see if your post was there or captured. And if so, I'll count it. But I want to make sure that everyone's posting within that community banner. So it looks like, okay. Oh, let's see here. And it's loading. So I think there's activity happening. So now our community is alive and well. It looks like everyone's coming in with their responses. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and check our, looks like we've got some more posts here. So I want to make sure I captured those. Yep, they're coming in hot. My goodness. Looks like we're getting more responses, so bear with me. All right, they're coming in. Give it another minute. Give it another minute. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to check Heather and Verona. So I want to make sure I captured folks. And again, if you now have community members, and it looks like we hit 15 replies. It looks like it's just my end that needed to refresh its page. So I see, oh, I do see Verona. Yes, I do see your name. Fantastic. It just came up. So you are added to the wheel of names. Let's add you here. We have just broken our record of 10 replies to 15 replies. So, hey, we just created a new record. So please, moderators, put some big sounding bells and whistles into the chat window. And Jennifer, I tell you something, you're getting a golden star, quite honestly, with all the replies that you've got there. Okay. I love the wheel of names. Okay, fantastic. Excellent. You're going to be included in there. Let's add more folks. This is the fun part, quite honestly, folks. Oh, I love it looks like the instruments, the thumbs up. Fantastic. Thank you, team. All right. I just want to make sure I captured everyone. So I'm going to go back to the window here. And yes, it looks like there is a slide. Okay, I just want to capture everyone's names. Again, thank you for engaging with us. Ultimately, we want to reward all those that are engaging with us. So we want to at least enter everybody into this wheel of names so that we can do 2 drawings. All right. Just want to make sure, does everybody see their username here? And if you don't, say, hold up, Ruben. Don't do that first drawing. Hold up. Does everybody see it? Can we get thumbs up? Yes? Okay. Want to make sure because this first drawing is going to be underway. Okay. It looks like, yep. Okay, I see yeps. I see good clapping hands, and I see I see the eyeballs here. Okay, we're all intense. All right, we're gonna spin that wheel. All right, everyone, please, moderators, put some drum rolls, please. All right, good. I want to make sure everyone's captured. All right, so drum rolls, moderators. All right. Okay, here we go. The first spin, and our first winner is, oh, is it Verona? It is? I think so. Oh, yes, we've got our first winner, Miss Verona. Fantastic. Congratulations, you are our first winner. And thank you for staying with it and putting your very first post into our community platform. It will be sent to you on your email right after this session. So we've got one more to go, and I'm going to go ahead and do that for the last one. So congrats. Yes, awesome community. Fantastic. We're going to do the last one. And here we go. More drum rolls, more drum rolls. So here we go. And our very last drawing here for a $25 Amazon gift card is, it looks like we've got a winner here. So if you're there in the chat, just identify whether it's a big happy face. All right, fantastic, fantastic. So you'll be notified via email. And folks, what I want to share more importantly is that ultimately, this community platform is designed for you. And again, we do these webinars to make them engaging. We want them to have fun at the end of the day. Feel free to check out our platform for more news and announcements. Checking out our forum will give you more regional type information. So if you'd like to participate or RSVP for the next one, feel free to do so. Check our socials as well. We also have an upcoming webinar this Friday where we have a collaboration with Ed Week. So you will be getting a professional development certificate out of that webinar that will be issued by Ed Week. So you want to stay tuned in our event section. So I'll take everybody really quickly before I dismiss everyone. If you're interested to learn more, you would go to the USA and Canada forum, and in here, you'll get a chance to scroll through all of our announcements, and we try to keep this updated pretty regularly. So please check as much as you can. And within here, you're able to check in posts that we've got, like webinars or special events. So this particular one, we'll talk about strategies for enhancing student engagement. So if this is a topic that really holds near and dear, please do so. Please attend. and the RSVP section will be there, so that way you're able to sign up for that webinar. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great night and great evening. Stay safe until we meet again next time. All right. You all take care. Thank you so much, team.